Hi traders, do you know how this audio actually came about? I made 2 or 3 different recordings about this topic, about scaling your trade sizes. And I felt that it's ultimately, very crucial that initially I wanted to splice them into one clip, to take parts of each one and put them into one. But then as I listened them over, I realized that they were all relevant in its own way, and the topic was all kind of different. So in this particular audio, I want to talk about that kind of feelings that you get when you self-sabotage yourself in your trading. You might have experienced times when on demo you're doing well, or perhaps like you tried with a small deposit and you did well as well. But it was when you scale your account, or perhaps for some reason you were just not having a good day that day, or maybe something else, some other event happened in your life, and it resulted in you sabotaging your own trades. Think about a time when you may have just walked yourself into an unnecessary losing trade situation that you could have easily avoided, but somehow along the way, and then it is as though your mind was trying to attract some kind of punishment, some kind of karma for the thing that you're doing. And what I'm getting at is that your mind is somehow telling you that you are not worth or let's say you're not deserving of the profit from that trade, and therefore you lost it. And for other reasons, there could be multiple reasons why this even happened. It could be our internal response to overtrading. So giving ourselves a lesson for overtrading and being greedy. Giving ourselves a lesson for perhaps having an argument with a loved one that we perhaps did not handle in the best way. Giving ourselves a punishment for perhaps impulse buy that you did at the mall over the weekend that you just felt was wrong and could be put towards a better purpose. So what I'm trying to get at is that, self-worth, self-approval. Actually, I would say it's more of a self-approval than even a self-worth issue. Because if you do not approve of it, then you will not have it. And there will be a part of you that is not unified with the rest of you. Does that make sense? It's as though maybe the majority of us may want to do something, but there could be a small aspect of us that has a controlling say. Think of it as in an organization, you ultimately have to have the approval of the CEO, the COO, the CFO for something to even push through. So everyone else could want a certain thing to happen, but if you do not get that very important minority support, it all falls apart and it becomes disjointed. So you cannot exactly get the results that you want. Now, I want to talk about a slightly different scenario as well. Like in terms of when you're scaling up, I've talked about this in previous audio, and I said that sometimes you're scaling up too much and you just cannot come to terms with the larger amounts. But this actually tracks back to sometimes when the amount is too big, we do not see ourselves succeeding to begin with. And we feel that with the larger amount, we are unable to do the things that we were able to do with the smaller amount. So when I was recently listening to some manifestation podcasts, again, some of my favorite content creators in this space of manifestation would be Master Sri Akarshana and also Vishen Lakiani. These are some of my favorites, Bert Goldman as well. And sometimes, if what you envision, let's think of it, let me change the way I said it. We all have this frame, okay, or a bubble around us. And maybe this bubble has a meter of blank space around us, which means to say that we can grow our potential to fill that 1 meter. But because our mental perception is that this boundary around us has a 1 meter radius of blank space around us that we can grow, anything that we expect that is more than this 1 meter will automatically not work out. So what that means is that first we have to fill this bubble that we perceive around us, or as we fill it, we then have a bigger perception. Let's say when we shrink that space around us, because we have grown by maybe half a meter, there's still another half meter of space. At that point of time, we feel that, okay, now that we've done this, maybe we can start aiming for a 2 meter space around us. But in some cases, we have to fill that 1 meter space before we feel that we are competent to go on and expand even further. So this is actually a self-perception, self-worth, self-approval issue. All three of this self are interlinked. One cannot do without the other. Perception, approval, worth. It all goes together. So we have to expand this area, and then you will find that when you're trading, you become more of one entity rather than a divided one. Okay, so you will not have little voices in your head telling you yes you should press, and little voices in your head telling you no you shouldn't, and next moment you have voices in your head that are having an argument, and ultimately you get frustrated and you have like a inner battlefield among your emotions, among your multitude of selves, all right, that ultimately made you have to stop the trading session. So you do not want to have these things to happen. Closely interlinked issue as well would be sometimes when you're trading, it could be an unfamiliar amount. It could be a certain occasion that maybe you're not present enough, or you're too present, or you're more attached to money than other days. And during that time, when you make these trades, you feel stressful, your heart's beating faster, your face getting flush. Ever felt that way? Comment down below. And during all these things, there are a few things that are happening. I'll also tell you how to solve it. Okay, so what's exactly happening is that doubt is one of them. At the same time, uncertainty is another, and uncertainty and doubt is closely interlinked. But this also means that you have to work on your confidence in a strategy. Perhaps it could have been because there was this one occasion that you had a glimpse that you might have to go to a higher level martingales that you are not prepped for, even though the calamity did not happen, but you saw a possibility of it happening, and that gives you fear. I mentioned in the previous video as well that fear is a very good compass for your success and for pushing yourself. But if the fear is too much, it also creates inaction, which is not good as well. So the ways to fix this is to further practice the strategy, regain your confidence in it, and then when you get back onto it, you will find that you can click with confidence. You can click with that machine-like result, knowing that if this, then this, if this, then this. It will not be if this, then how the heck am I going to deal with this situation? We're not, we want to build in the machine-like, logic, reasoning, that no matter what can possibly happen, you can handle it, and on top of that, you will win. And there is not the slightest possibility of you failing. So you might need some time. Going back to demo trading, you might need to lower your trade size till you find that you feel not bothered. Sometimes it may even mean that you drop back from doing $10 trades to $1 trades. It may mean that you drop back from $50 trades to doing $10 or $5 trades, just to get that comfort zone once again. Alright, so until you find that it's safe, then we can actually move out of it. It's also similar to driving a car. When I've made several videos through the years, I like to compare trading and driving. Why? Because when you're driving at a faster speed than you're used to, what's going to happen? When you drive at a faster speed than what you're used to, sometimes you may find that the car is shaking in such a way, you're hearing more of the creaking of the sunroof, you're hearing the suspension giving out noises, you're hearing the flex of the chassis of the car, you're hearing a larger wind sound, and all these things are more road noise, and all these things are making you feel uneasy. By the way, if you ever tried driving a Honda Jazz at 120, 130 kilometers per hour, it's not the best feeling. Let me just tell you that. If it's disturbing, okay, it just feels disturbing. So there are few things that you can do in this situation, okay? When we drive fast for the first time, you will feel that it is something unknown, the fear of the unknown. Exactly. So we need to understand the unknown better. And how do we do that? Incrementally. And sometimes the vehicle may not be suitable of going at that speed as well. So, for example, when I moved from Singapore to Thailand, Singapore has a very strict speed limit of 80 kilometers per hour, 90 kilometers per hour in most places. And when I moved to Thailand, on the other hand, you can get away with speeding by just paying a very small amount of money. And as a result, there are a lot of people, and I have also driven in way excess of what is supposed to be a speed limit. And you could say that I have been going, and many people have been going at autobahn speeds in various parts of Thailand. But doing that for the very first time was disturbing. I remember doing that in a Mercedes CLA. That car was not built for that kind of driving with the stock suspension, very wobbly. The faster that we went, the more floaty it felt, and it was disturbing. It was just a straight line driving that time that when I did it, but it still made me feel very uneasy. It was only after, let's say, switching out the suspension for something firmer that I gained the confidence. So this brings me to a second aspect. All right, sometimes when you cannot try to understand the unknown still feels uncomfortable, sometimes you have to change the vehicle, upgrade the vehicle. So how can you upgrade yourself as a trader? To practice, right? And that would make you more equipped. And sometimes change the equipment they use to trade. Instead of a phone, many people feel more comfortable trading on a computer. And if your screen is just like a 10-inch, maybe you might feel more confident and comfortable when you can see more of the chart. Why do you think so many traders out there like to have double screen? Or even 3 screen? I don't think 3 screens is very necessary, but I think a 16-inch MacBook Pro is quite sufficient. A 16-inch screen, or let's say if you plug it out to a monitor, and then when you can actually put like various charts out there, or you can put we have a better view, right? You also feel better. And change your mental state. I've mentioned this in previous videos as well. The mental state does make a huge difference. Let's say if there's certain music that is causing you to be disturbed, if there are conversations around you that are causing your emotional state to be disrupted, then it's time to refocus. Find a music that suits you, that helps you trade better. Some people, like I said, trade better with rock music. Some people, on the other hand, like trance. Some people like classical. And it really depends on you. Everyone's a little bit different. So I've covered a few different aspects in this video, and I hope it helps you. Let me know which part of what I mentioned helps you the best. And if you have not already been taking notes, and I should have mentioned this much early on, you can also use the comments down below to take notes. And also on top of that, you can, on top of keeping a note of some of the key points over here, or what spoke to you best, because when you write down, it helps to program it into your subconscious. But at the same time, save this video as well, and come back, let's say in a month or even like 2 months from now. I would like you to share back over here, like how you have progressed and how you have grown after applying some of these tips into your trading, and why I want to encourage like coming back here to share the result. And some of you maybe have even get a breakthrough from listening to this, and within a few days it greatly changed the way that you trade and the results that you generate. And then coming back here helps to pay forward the same vibrational energies of success that you now have, so that other people that were in the position that you were back then before you made this breakthrough can benefit from it too. Alright, thank you everyone for watching, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and hit the bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a great year of trading and trading success. Bless you with much abundance. Thank you.